What's up guys, Weldon Customs here, and today we are taking a look at the Mafex Batman figure from the Batman v Superman movie wave right here. Looks pretty cool, very promising looking figure, looks pretty nice on the side right here. You have Batman v Superman with a nice pose of Batman there. On the back you have more poses of Batman with all the stuff he's included with, looks like. It looks like that. Looks pretty cool. Let's open them up. Alright guys, so here is Batman out of the box. Now I have to say, if you watched my videos in the past, you know how much I criticize and hate Mafex, especially that Spider-Man figure I bought in the past. But I'm saying this right off the bat, I love this figure. This is an awesome looking figure. We'll get into all that soon. First off, let's take a look at his accessories because he has a lot of them. Alright, so let's take a look at his accessories first. He does come with a lot of different accessories, including 6 pairs of hands. That's a lot, including the ones on him right now, which are closed fists. Most of them, the rest of them are pretty much open hand gestures, especially the ones to hold his weapons that he has right here. So it's pretty standard. Let's take a look at them really closely. It's nothing special, really. Zoom in. They're pretty much a black glove, as you can see right there, and they have the gold brass knuckles on them, if you want to call it that. Not brass knuckles, but the knuckles are painted gold right there. So it's pretty nice. Nothing special, but very effective overall. Alright, so next we are going to take a look at his grappling gun. I have to say, it is pretty cool looking. Looks really nicely detailed. Nicely sculpted as well. You can see all the small details in the gun as well, the barrel and stuff like that. The paint apps are pretty good too. He has a nice brown handle, some silver on the gauntlet parts right here. Grappling part right there, sorry. Some silver in the bottom. He has a hole in the front right there. Here's the other side. Very cool, very nicely detailed. Alright, next he does come with a batarang right here. Looks pretty good. I like how it's sculpted. Looks pretty nice overall. I do wish there was some black in it, maybe in the middle I believe, or it's supposed to be on the sides only, but it would have gave some nice detail to it. But overall it looks pretty nice, and I have no real complaints at all. He also does come with a little grenade right here. I would like to call it a smoke grenade because that's what he uses in his arsenal. It could be a flash grenade though, you never know. But it looks pretty cool. I do wish there was some paint apps on the ring over there. It's hard to see the details sometimes, but overall it does serve its purpose. And last but not least, he does have his grenade launcher that we dubbed the Kryptonite grenade launcher. Looks pretty good, nicely detailed as well. No paint apps, it's just black, but looks pretty nice. Here's a nice size comparison with the Mattel version that came with the Batman v Superman figures, which is a little bit bigger, as you can see right there in size. The Mattel one is a little bit bigger overall, but it's overall pretty much the same exact sculpt, which is pretty funny right there. And really quickly before we go on, I want to point out, if you want to use the weapons on the figure, I recommend you taking the hand first and then putting the weapon in there, like so, because it could be a little bit hard to get in there. The hands are pretty stiff. And then do that first and then put the hand onto the figure. It might be a lot easier. And also I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out what hand goes with what accessory, because you know some of them don't really fit the best. Pretty much you have 2 hands that have kind of a grip. Which are them? It's these 2 right here. And I find it a lot easier with this one to have the weapons that are like guns. So like this one fits a lot better like that because the finger extends to the trigger over there. Same thing goes with the grappling hook, and it's also a little bit bigger as well to get the handle in there too. You could even hear the plastic because it's really tight. It's a tight fit, I have to admit. So that might be a little bit better. But going back to this one you could probably use for the batarang. You can stick it in his hand like that. Might be a little bit better. Also, definitely with the smoke grenade, it'll slide right in there. Just like that. Actually, I lied. I think this hand is a lot better once you get it in there. I don't think that is a trigger for the grenade. I think that may be a reloading mechanism. But overall, as you can see, this fits in right away very nicely. And right here, we have Batman posing with the grenade launcher right here, so you can see how that looks like. Looks pretty cool. Next we have Batman with his grappling gun right here. It looks pretty cool, as you can see right there. And this is a great looking figure. And now we'll end it with Batman with his batarang in that other hand right there. And it looks pretty nice. And for our last accessory, he does come with the standard Mafex stand right there that you can open up for there, so you get Batman in some nice dynamic poses. Actually, I forgot to point out, his cape is actually wired at the ends there, so you could definitely get him some cool poses if you want to get him in that stand. Let's get him in that stand, right? Let's see how far this cape can extend to. So we'll get him in there. Give me 1 second, guys. cool this could look. Alright, so before we get into the review, we're going straight into size comparisons first because I know a lot of people want to see how they stack up with other figures from different lines. So right here we have the new Mafex figures, Batman and Superman. Next to them we have their counterparts from Mattel from the Batman v Superman movie. So as you can see, they really aren't that bad. As we know, this Batman figure is pretty big. Batman is pretty big in the movie though, but you could, you know, if you don't take him, if you take him out, it really isn't that bad. As you can see right here, I'm going to do more size comparisons of them individually in a couple of seconds, but I think this is a good reference right here. As you can see, Batman and Superman have a little bit more realistic looking bodies, if you want to say it like that. But overall, it looks pretty good in my opinion. I'm not really complaining at all. Alright, so next to each other side by side is Batman and Superman right here. Not bad. Actually, Superman is a little bit taller than the Batman figure overall. I don't think that is 100% accurate, but you know, if you want to go comic-wise, I guess you could say that's accurate. But for the movie, it's not accurate because I think Ben Affleck is taller than Henry Cavill. But overall, it isn't horrible. You know, it could definitely pass if you wanted to leave it like that. Alright, so here is the Mafex figure with the Mattel figure of Batman right here. As you can see, they're a little bit different. The Mattel one is a little bit bigger overall in height and size, but like I said before earlier, this is a pretty big figure to begin with, so it could be a little bit misleading. It's not like this guy is small, it's that he's pretty big. But like I said, you know, I like this figure a lot. This is not a bad figure, but man, comparing them to overall, it's a huge difference. But remember, you're paying a huge difference in price as well. This is a regular stock figure you get at your local Toys R Us or something like that. This one is a Japanese import, which will make you, you know, you're gonna pay the money for it, but it definitely might be worth it overall. And here's a nice side-by-side of them. As you can see, the cowl and the head sculpt on the Mafex one is far superior compared to this one, which I know a lot of people did not like. But yeah, here they are. Alright, now we have the Mafex Batman with the Mattel Superman, and now you can kind of see the size of him and get a better understanding. Like I said, he's not that small, it's just that the other Batman figure is really big. So you compare these two together, as you can see, Batman actually is bigger than the Mattel Superman figure overall, and it actually might look better together, these two, to be honest. I think these two actually match up pretty well, in my opinion, better than the other two. And for another size comparison, here he is with the Armored Batman right here and the Nightmare Batman. Man, looking at these guys with him, we are really in desperate need for the Mafex versions. And for another size comparison, here is Commissioner Gordon from the Nolan trilogies right there. And of course, right here on the other side, we have the SH Figure Arts Injustice Superman right here. You know, when it comes to SH Figure Arts and Mafex, I think that the Mafex figures are pretty good for the scale. SH Figure Arts are like 5% smaller in scale than they really should be, in my opinion. I mean, they don't look bad, but you could tell that the Superman body is a little bit smaller, kind of, when it stands next to this Mafex figure right here. You know, it's really small percentage, maybe like 5%, maybe 10, but they should be a little bit bigger, especially when you see the waist and the legs. The height is okay, but like I said, it could be even taller maybe. And for another size comparison, here is Batman with some of these standard DC Classics, DC Unlimited figures, so you want to see a nice scale size for them. You know, he fits in okay. He's a little bit smaller, but it's not that noticeable, really. You know, you could put these two together, look fine in size, to be honest. But you can see the difference in their body scale, their body mold, and everything like that. It's a lot different, of course. And these size comparisons keep going, so here he is with some standard size DC Icon figures, the smaller figures. We'll look into the bigger ones in 1 second. But as you can see, you can kind of mix and match if you really want to. And finishing off the DC Icons, here is Superman and Batman right there. And we are not stopping, so next we have Captain America. We have one from the Marvel Legends line. The next one is from the SH Figure Arts line. As you can see, the Marvel Legends one actually pairs up a little bit better, in my opinion, compared to the SH Figure Arts one, which is, like I always said, a little bit too small in scale for the 6-inch line. But overall, these two look pretty good together. We are still going right here. So right here we have the Figma Iron Man, Figma Hulk, Marvel Legends Captain America, and the SH Figure Arts Hulk in the background right there. I have to admit, I like the size of these two next to each other. Even though this is the comic version, this is the movie version, it's nice to see they're about the same size, give or take. So it's a nice pairing of the two right there, side by side right there. Not bad at all. This has always been my favorite Iron Man figure from Figma, so it's nice to see two figures next to each other, which is pretty much movie accurate, if you want to call it that. And of course, we got the two Hulks back there, which will be a great review coming up soon. Alright guys, don't worry, we are coming to the end soon. So here is Batman with some of my Joker figures. We have the Suicide Squad Joker right here. We have my little Abomination right there. And we have the not Killing Joke, the Endgame's Joker from the comic books right there. Not bad, you know, these two are pretty much the ones you're going to pair them up with. You know, he looks a little bit different, not as much detail obviously, but you get the gist right there. Actually, I like these two side by side. I think that looks pretty good. My little Abomination right there. And why not, right? And might as well, since we're going all the way. This is a comparison just to show you how he is next to one of the Mezco bodies right there. And I think that should do it. Alright, last one, seriously. This is Black Panther right next to Batman right here, which I like a lot. I think he has a great sculpt as well, just like Batman right there. And they look pretty good together side by side. And of course, right here is my custom Aquaman figure that I'm pretty much done with. I had to finish coloring his arms to match the head and the body, but that's how he looks like right there. Alright, now that these size comparisons are done with, we can finally finish the review. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed those size comparisons because I know a lot of people were asking or were wondering, is this figure worth buying? Is he going to match up well with this certain figure, or is he going to match up well with this certain line of figures? And that really does matter to a lot of people, and definitely matters to me as well. You know, size comparisons is always the funnest part of a toy review. You want to see how the figure matches up with other figures. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it will help a lot of people in the long run to make a decision, because this is a great figure and you want him to match up with other figures in your collection. Alright, since we're going backwards anyway, let's go straight into Articulation right now. Alright, so for Articulation, he has a ball joint at the neck and also at the base of the neck, so he has a lot of rotation at the neck and the head, so it goes all the way up that far. It looks pretty good. It goes down just a little bit, but not that bad. You get that nice iconic sad Batman pose right there. It does pivot left and right, which is pretty good actually. That's pretty nice right there. And of course it turns left and right, no problems there. Going to the shoulders, he has a hinge joint shoulder on a peg itself, so not bad rotation overall. It has a little bit of a socket like movement right there. Goes up, goes down. It doesn't go up and down sideways that much, though. It only goes up about that much, which is not the best, but you know what, it's not horrible, I guess. But that's all the movement you're gonna get out of that. He has a bicep swivel right there. He has 2 points at the elbow, which are pretty good. You get him a little bit more than 90 degrees right there, so that's pretty good right there. And at the wrist, he has a ball, I'm not gonna say a ball joint, but he has a hinge over there, and it does rotate left and right, so it's not bad right there. For the ab joint, it is on a ball joint, which is pretty good. It goes far back, pretty far back. It goes pretty decently forward, not bad at all. Pretty good there. It does pivot a little bit left and right. It does rotate left and right as well as a ab joint, a waist joint, you want to call it that, because at the waist I don't think it moves. I can't get mine to move. I'm not going to force it, but he does have the rotation up there, and it's pretty good movement. It rotates to the side as well and on an angle, so you can definitely get some nice poses out of that way. Like I said before, I don't think he has a waist joint, but you do have this, so that does make up for it. Going down to the hips, he does have a ball joint in the hip and does come out down a little bit if you need some more room to move the legs around, which is not horrible as well. It does go up. Let me back up a little bit. It goes up about that much. Not horrible, pretty good, almost 9 degrees. Goes back a little bit, not bad. In and out for a split, not bad at all. He does have a thigh swivel in there, so it's pretty good. 2 points at the knee, which is nice. He doesn't have a boot swivel, but at the ankle it does rotate left and right over there. It goes up and down. It pivots right, left and right as well. So it's really good rotation right there at the ankle. And he has a toe joint as well, so you get some nice added articulation there. Alright guys, now we can finally take a closer look at the figure itself. Now when it comes to the sculpt of the figure, I really don't have to say that much because you could take a look at it yourself. I really hope you're in HD to really appreciate how this looks like. I know a lot of people were making fun of the duct tape look in the beginning, but you look at this figure, man, you're gonna appreciate every single thing about this guy. You can see all the texture, all the grooves. Man, it is such a nicely sculpted figure. I can't believe how nice it looks. It's really amazing. Going down right here in the upper body. Going back to the head really quickly, I love the head. The head is a great look. He has a really thick neck too, which I like a lot too. You can see his eyes in there. They're pretty good. They're pretty small though because the cowl, I mean, the mask really hides it. He has a really, his eyebrows, whatever you want to call that. The brow really does cover it up in the shadows. So you have any kind of light, it really does cast a shadow over it, which is pretty good too. It's a nice look. The mouth looks pretty good too. Don't mind the color really. But going back to the body, man, so nice. So nice. Now, I know everybody has seen the new Batman costume for the Justice League, which isn't the same, a little bit modified, but this is definitely a lot nicer in my opinion. Going down to the belt right now, you can see the belt is so detailed, man. Look at that. That is a belt. Now, take a look at this ugly thing right here. Now, take a look at this. That is nice. Nicely detailed. It's actually stuck on. You can't take it off, to my knowledge, which is not a bad thing. Not bad thing at all. Going down to his gloves over here, you can see the spikes are painted gold. The knuckles are painted gold as well. Very detailed. You see some design in the gloves over here as well, little lines. And going down to the rest, same gray pattern. And here is his boots. They have the tips of gold right there. Alright guys, now I want to talk about quality control, because if you guys watched my videos in the past, you know I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to Mafex. I had a really bad experience with a Spider-Man Mafex figure. I just thought the joints were really loose, they felt fragile, didn't stand straight. It wasn't, it just wasn't a great figure in my opinion. Now with this figure, my opinion has changed a lot. Either their quality control has gotten a lot better, or just because it's a thicker figure that all the joints are a lot better. But overall, all the joints feel great. They're not loose, they're not tight, they're nice and firm. And that's a big thing. Everything feels good, everything feels nice and smooth overall. I know there was a picture going around online where somebody's hip joint cracked. And I'm not really sure how that happened. Maybe his was stuck, or he was too forceful with it, because mine feel fine. I don't think anything's gonna happen. If you don't really, obviously anyone could break a figure, a bigger joint, but you just have to be pretty gentle with these things, and they will be fine in the long run. But like I said before, with this figure, my whole opinion on Mafex has changed, honestly. This is a great figure. The joints, like I said, feel great. I love the joints at the knees and also at the elbows, how they hide the look of the joint. Looks pretty good overall there. My only concern, I do wish when it came to like the pegs and the hands, I do wish they came with extra ones just in case it does break, because I feel like that is the most vulnerable or loose, or that's the only part that could break, and we're going to take a look at it really closely right now, if you give me 1 second to zoom in on it. Alright, so taking a look at the peg right there, as you can see, this is a pretty standard peg for a lot of import figures. As you can see, like, the right side is where the peg is connected on the half circle, while the left side is nothing. I'm not a big fan of this kind of look, because it's so thin right there where the ball meets the peg, that you never know, some way, somehow you could actually snap that, or it could warp easily because you're always moving the hands or interchanging the hands. So I do wish it came with an extra version of this so you could switch it out if you do break it. To my knowledge, there was nothing in the box, so I might have to look again just to double check. But I do wish this joint was a little bit better. It'd make me a lot more peace of mind, if you want to say that. But like I said, this is a very nitpick concern of mine. As of right now, there is no problems with this, but I just feel like in the long run, you never know. Alright guys, what else is there to say about this Batman figure? I don't know. I really don't know. It is a great looking figure. In my opinion, it is the best Batman figure ever. I'm going to say it right off the bat. I think this is the best Batman figure ever. The 6-inch scale, 5-inch scale, 7-inch scale, 12-inch scale. I'm not really, I don't have Hot Toys, but I don't think Hot Toys are as cool as this, to be honest. I know they look great, but people just stick them up like stick figures on the shelf and don't know what to do with them. This, as a nice 6-inch scale figure, you could do so much with it, honestly. In my opinion, like I said, it is the best Batman figure ever. Like I said before, the scale is great. The articulation's awesome. The sculpting is top-notch, if not the best ever I've seen in a long time. You have a nice wired cape to get nice dynamic poses. Best Batman ever. Now, I want to point him out with this one really quickly because I know a lot of people are going to make the comparison, of course. Clearly, this is the better, superior Batman figure, and I'm not going to deny that, obviously. But I am going to also point out that they are of two totally different price ranges. And, to be honest, this is not a bad figure. Obviously it's not as good as this one, but for its price range, for what you're looking for, it's not a bad Batman figure. I still use it for my collection. I have a shelf full of Batmobiles that I put him there with all of them, and it looks fine. It looks good. And like I said before, totally two different price ranges. This is almost 3 times more expensive compared to this, and it better be 3 times better than this, than this one. So I'm just gonna say, don't dismiss this one right here because it's not horrible, but it's not good or the best. It's just a decent Batman figure, and to be honest, this is what some people can only afford to get. So it's not bad. It's just not as good as this, but just don't dismiss this one overall. But going back to this one, I have to say it is the best. Alright guys, so this has been a nice long review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. This is a last size comparison with the Mattel Batmobile. Actually, it looks pretty good because he's a little bit smaller compared to the other Batman, and he actually fits in pretty well with it. This is actually a work in progress. I'm almost done with it, but you guys get the gist. He will fit in there because he definitely has the articulation to slide right in there. So we'll get him there really quickly so you can see that. It's pretty good, not bad. Close the door. There you go. So like I said, I hope this review was helpful, guys. If you guys have any criticisms or any ideas or suggestions what I could do better for my next one, let me know. But yeah, this was a fun review to do. Really looking forward to it. Been looking forward to it for a long time, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And share it. It's been fun. I hope you could share it with other people so you can see how this Batman figure is. And that's about it, guys. So thanks for watching. Like always, comment, criticize, subscribe, do whatever you want to pay attention. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at wildandcustoms.com. If you liked the video, get a thumbs up. Peace!